We got our love expert in here. Her name is Kellie Raspberry, and she gives you a free service here on this radio show. All you got to do is write her, and she has a website. loveletterskelly.com is where you can do that. There's also a podcast, and that's going to be dropping this morning at 10 a.m. Central. Yes, Kellie. Don't worry. He'll be back.
Do you feel weird?
You feel lonely?
Did I miss something?
Yeah, he told us.
He did?
He said, I'll be right back.
Gotta go. Earbuds in, so I missed
You
it?
might have had your earbuds in. Yeah, Big Al will be right back. Don't you worry, Kid Nation.
That medicine kick in?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, poor Al.
He's fine. You know, he's been very open about it, but yeah, he said he'll be right back. And that's
make a trip down the hall.
That's okay. That's all right.
Love letters. Love letters to Kellie.
Should I read Al's letter?
Oh, give him a chance. He might make it back.
Letter number 1?
No, we're going to leave that one for him. But dear Kellie, you are the love expert.
I am.
What would you do if your spouse was in business with a terrible person?
Ooh.
We are talking about misuse of company funds, multiple affairs, and cheating on premises. Controversial and opinionated. And overall, a terrible reputation in our community. Lots of enemies. Yikes. Of course, my spouse is none of these things. The business partner is the CEO and the owner of this private company, so there's no one to come in and intervene. He is the boss. My spouse has benefited greatly financially, but I hate the thought of this person being in our lives forever and being associated with them, even though I hardly see them or interact with them. Help, Emily.
Well, I mean, your husband has made the decision that the money's too good to walk away. So here you are, the spouse that just has to listen to it all the time, and he dumps on you. And at some point, if you get tired of hearing it, the dumper's back.
I get up at 2:30. I don't know about y'all.
So, I mean, there comes a point, it's like with anything, like in my relationships, when I complain about something, and I dump on my boyfriend or husband or whatever, they're finally like, if you're not going to do something about it, stop talking to me about it, right? Because I've given you advice, I hear it, you never take my advice, and you just keep complaining. So until you do something about it, just stop complaining. You could do that if you're just sick of hearing about it. If you want to be more proactive with it, what you could do is tell your husband to document everything, to get it all written down on paper, because you might need to have everything documented that's going on really bad. Because sometimes when people are dirty in business, they have a way of dragging you down with them.
Yep.
And some of the, man, if he's really a bad person, he's like, if I'm going down, I'm taking everybody with me. So you need to get that stuff documented, and maybe have him consult somebody legally. It's worth a couple $100 to maybe go meet with a lawyer and say, look, this is what's going on in my company. Am I in any danger here? Because I know all that. Because you said he's doing bad stuff illegally.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's having multiple affairs and he is
about the business.
Cheating on the premises, but he's
illegal.
also, but that's fine, right? You don't have to be around him or hang out with them, but he is misusing company funds. That is illegal.
So I would strongly encourage him, just to protect his own booty, to go consult somebody in the legal arena. It's worth a few $100 to get their advice on what you should do. Mm-hmm. And it might be about documenting things and getting the heck out of Dodge. And it's easier to find a job when you have one. But if he's going to not do anything and he's just going to keep in this situation and just complain about it, just say, honey, until you're ready to do something, I don't want to hear it anymore. Mm. That's my advice.
Yeah. Tough.
But I would get legal
Yeah.
advice on that.
Protect yourselves. Protect yourselves.
Love letters. Love letters to Kellie.
Dear Kellie, you're the love expert.
I am.
I'm back, by the way.
Hey, Al.
Hey. And you know what? Another thing. Watch episode, I think it was 2 of Murdaugh.
Murdaugh
the
Murders,
thing on
whatever.
Netflix.
I told you, right? It's pretty good.
Oh, my gosh. And I think episode 2 was when there was a death. This was not the double homicide. There was a death, and he sued himself on behalf
of homeowners insurance or whatever,
on behalf of the
housekeeper.
deceased housekeeper, and got millions of dollars and didn't give any of it to the family. So
that's what he was doing to his clients. Again, that dude was doing misuse of company funds. Like that's
bad stuff.
Bad stuff. He's a bad man, and he got sentenced
and people
rightfully.
Will do when they're backed into a corner and desperate and panicking. You don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
He killed his own family.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
His
awful.
wife and child.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
Dear Kelly, you are the love expert.
I am.
Can you give me some advice? Can you give me some advice on wanting alone time in a relationship? My girlfriend and I have been together for over a year now. We live separately, but plan on moving in together in the future. We go to the gym. We go to the gym together. We have the same friend group, and the only time we're not together is when we are at work. I do sharing those things. I am way bad right now. I do enjoy sharing those things, but still feel the need for alone time. My girlfriend is the opposite. That's from Donald.
Well, that's a kind of a problem. That's something that does need to be addressed before you move in together. And it's kind of a weird conversation to have. I didn't realize, when I was dating my husband, we would have our alone time when we would go our separate ways, right?
Right.
But when we were together, oh my gosh, this is so great. But then he would go to his place and I'd be in mine. And then when we moved in together, once we were married, and he'd go sit in his office by himself without me, it hurt my feelings. Why does he want to sit out here with me? Why does he need so much alone time? My husband requires so much alone time. He now has 3 man caves in our house.
Oh, wow.
3?
Hello, I'm Alan.
I'm like, how much do you need to get away from me?
3 man caves?
Wow,
She won't
if
find
that's
me in the
case,
first 2.
Those aren't man caves. Those are hiding places.
Right?
Those are
But
their own
my husband
apartments.
is a different personality type than I am. And there's concessions you make in a relationship. So he can go sit in his office by himself, and he is just fine and dandy. And he's like, everything's right in the world. I'm in the other room thinking, he's not happy with me. Why is he not wanting to be with me? Have I done something wrong? Is he mad at me? And he doesn't have a clue because women, we do this stuff in our minds.
Oh, yeah.
If we're not together all the time, he's losing interest. So y'all need to have a real serious conversation about this moving in. Say, honey, I love you so much, but things are going to be a little different once we're under the same roof. And, I really do value time. It doesn't have to be like a big, heavy, we need to talk. But I just need some of my own space. Am I going to have a little man cave area? Are you going to have your little she shed? Are you, we're going to need, I think it's just beneficial for our relationship that we just know going in that if I need a couple of hours at the end of the day just to be by myself, I don't want you to take that personally. I
Right.
don't want you to be blindsided by that.
Didn't Dr. Phil tell us something about that one time when he was talking about him and Robin? Like, they
Separate
enjoy
interests.
having separate interests so that they could talk about something
back
at the end of the day.
together.
Yeah. But you still need to hang out.
Game? What's a game?
Oh, I did say guy.
Over.
But anyway, like I said, it's just, but it is something that needs to be addressed because she might not just, you might be looking at her as being a needy, clingy person, but that just might be her personality type. She just loves you so much, she wants to be with you all the time, and that's great, but you're a little bit different and you need some private alone time. So discuss that. I had to make some adjustments in my expectations after we got married and
Because you
lived
guys do
together.
still spend time together. You have
Would
your
it-
date
Yeah.
nights. Yeah.
Would it be wrong for
You
him
need it.
to, after they move in together, for him to still have his apartment on the side? Would that be wrong?
I wouldn't recommend that. But to have your own room, and if you have your own space where it's
Yeah.
like your little
Your getaway.
place to go, your getaway. I don't have a problem. But it's something that you have to, there's so many things you're going to learn about each other in that first year or two of living together that this might be the least of your concerns, that you need some
Right.
alone time.
Go.
Love letters. Love letters to Kelly.
Dear Kelly, you are the love expert.
I am.
I'm interning at this job that I'd really like to have, and a guy from the company that works in a different department followed me on social media recently. At first, I thought he was being friendly and networking, but he started asking me to grab drinks or lunch. I feel uncomfortable because I don't want to date someone at this company that I really want to work for and risk anything with getting the job. I don't technically work for them yet, but it still feels risky. Kelly, how should I communicate this to him without being rude? I'm sure he's a great guy, but I don't know him, and I also wouldn't care to do anything that could risk my dream job.
Well, is he in a, there's a few things you could do. Do you have to answer every message you get? Do you have to open every message you get? You could just do ignorance is bliss.
Leave them on
You
red.
can ghost him. I mean,
Don't read them at all.
Yeah,
But
leave
if
them on
you're
red.
already-
Leave
Oh,
'em-
unread.
Leave them
On
on or unread.
Unread.
She's already obviously read a
She's
few
read
of
it.
them.
Yeah.
But you could ghost him. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. But if it does get to the, where you feel like, you know what, I'm really hoping that I can work for this company, and it would be, I'd just rather keep it kind of separate right now. And I really think you're great and I appreciate it right now, but it's just a matter of fact grown-up conversation. Grown-up conversations are uncomfortable to have
They're hard.
sometimes.
They're hard.
They're hard. But it just, once you get it out on the table, it's such a relief. And if he's a normal human being, he will back off. Now, you might have somebody that's like, oh, now this is a challenge and I'm going to keep. And then you've got a problem. And then you're going to have to go to HR or whatever and say, look, I really am hoping that this internship comes to something, but I just need to address something with this guy, if it gets to that point. But, sometimes being adult means you have to do some adult things.
Adulting's hard, man.
Adulting is so hard.
The hardest.
It is. I hate it. But, yeah, so I would just either try, if the ghosting thing and don't read his messages, let's leave them unopened. Because it's one thing if he's doing it all on social media. It's another thing if he's doing it in your face at work. If he's approaching you at work, that takes it to a different level. But still, it's just, I had to have that conversation with a guy one time. I was just
How'd
like.
Al take it?
Al, no, that one I said yes. But many years ago, I had to have that conversation with a gentleman.
At
He
work?
wanted to go out with me, and I was embarrassed and awkward. I'm like, I just really don't want to. I don't think we should go out because we work together, and it's just awkward.
Oh, now I want to know who it was.
We want
Oh,
names.
it's back in Florence, South Carolina.
Oh.
You have no idea.
I was going to say Rich? No.
It was back in Florence.
Okay.
But anyway, and he kept on asking me out, and it got really awkward. But I was young, and I didn't have the.
You could have gone to talk
That was
somebody.
a lot of nerve for me to say that.
Yeah.
But I never went to the management about it, and I just. Ha ha ha! Would always say no, and it was just.
But you were
uncomfortable,
uncomfortable.
awkward.
That just
until we
puts you in a
finally found
terrible
somebody
spot.
else.
Yeah.
But when you get older, it's easier to say when you're older and have a lot more seasoning on you that you can have these conversations. But
Love
that's what you
seasoning.
got to do.
Love Tony C's. So good. Oh, you talked about seasoning. I got hungry.
Yes, I got some Lowry's on them legs over there. Look at that.
Oh, you still talking about the tan?
Red,
Cool.
yeah.
Love letters. Love letters and Kelly. Kelly, you are the love expert.
Right.
So I have this dude that I really like, and he has everything I want in a man.
Okay.
Good job, takes care of himself, works hard, good sense of humor,
Oh,
tries to talk to me when he can,
All right.
etc. My question is, when is a good time to tell him my feelings? I feel like I'm ready to tell him, but I'm not sure when it's appropriate. I'm ready to give this man my all. I am ready to take care of him and all of his needs. I've been single pretty much my whole life, and I've been teaching myself about relationships and how they work. He lives almost 4 hours away in Florida, and I live in Mississippi.
Oh.
So I don't get to see him much. So how do you recommend I go about this possible relationship?
Well, I wouldn't go all in out the gate.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he's 4 hours away and they hook up and she goes home and he goes home. Are they at that point?
Are
She
they-
doesn't. I don't know.
I don't
They
even know if
text
they've
a lot,
seen each
maybe.
other.
She lives in Mississippi?
Is it all online?
I think it's all online.
See, that's the thing. It's like a lot of times these online relationships,
Hot
it's
and
just
heavy?
a distraction. It's just something fun to do. It's like, oh, here's a little. It's instead of playing Candy Crush, he's like, let me mess with her for a little while. Oh, ha ha ha, that's fun, flirting, and then he goes back to his everyday life. But you could just, instead of telling him, I'm willing to pack up everything and move to Florida, be with you right now and take care of you and be your everything, that's a little
Well,
overwhelming.
that's option one.
You could just say, you know what, I've really enjoyed talking to you online and everything. I'm just wondering, where do you see this relationship heading?
Ooh.
Just that. And if he cuts and runs and panics, you got your answer.
I don't cut us.
But if he's like, you know what, I really like the way things are going as they are, let's leave him alone. You got your answer right there, too, that maybe this is just a distraction for him. He doesn't want to give it up, but he doesn't want to go any further, right? So he could panic and cut off communication. He can say, let's leave things the way they are. I'm happy, and nothing progresses. Or he could say, you're right.
Come give me your all.
Let's try to make an effort. Summer's coming up. Let's see if we can plan some weekends where we can kind of meet halfway, or you come see me and I come see you. It's going to go one of three ways.
What if she moves to Georgia and they called their relationship the Florida-Georgia line?
That
See,
deserves a
Tracy
laugh.
saw that coming. But please don't come at him guns blazing and like, I'm ready to commit. Dip your toe into especially if you haven't had that conversation at all.
Mm-hmm.
All online stuff, that's usually just a distraction. And
What if he doesn't even
if
look
a man
like that?
wants you, he will say, what are we doing here? Let's go.
Hey.
A man pursues. and comes and gets what he wants.
Like
a man.
man.
I know the relationship lines and the roles in relationships have blurred and changed and shifted so much, but at the root, the way at the root, a man comes and gets what he wants.
Man come to you. Kelly says that all the time.
Right.
Boom. Solid advice, Kelly Raspberry. Well done today.
Thank you.
If you want to write her, we do this on Mondays and Wednesdays. Also, that podcast is dropping this morning at 10 a.m. Central. Just go to loveletterstokelly.com and we might be reading your letter next.
We're all over your internets. The whole cast is on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Head to KiddNation.com to get connected to our pages. KiddNation.com. More of the Kid Craddock Morning Show is on the way.